Peace unto you. This is day 2 of the Mastery Course for the Beyond. Every Friday, every Sunday. We started a little later today for Source, A.K.A. God, guided us to today's theme. It's not divine timing. Peace unto you, everybody. It's not divine timing. We are moving away from the terms time and any terms of density. We call it divine orchestration. All right, so I remember when we spoke about, we're still going to allow some people to roll in, but, sources are saying just start flowing. I'm like, all right, I remember when we spoke about Earth and people's values. If you truly value God or Source, the Great Central Sun, whatever label serves for you, then you must know as above, so below. So, for example, if you want to be a successful businessman on Earth, you have to put on the mind of a successful businessman. Learn how to save money. It's a becoming process. Well, it's the same thing with Earth as it is with heaven. As above, so below. With heaven is a becoming process. To go to heaven, you have to become as one who's already in heaven, because there's a cosmic joke. The cosmic joke is you are already in heaven. That's the cosmic joke. And if you don't utilize the term heaven, you can say God's domain. When I astral projected, I was speaking with some archangels, and they took me to this realm that was very, very beautiful. You couldn't hate. And it was like, we call this God's domain. And this is one of the reasons why, I'm going to let some more people climb in before we really start diving deep. But this is one of the reasons why we said hate and Satan and all of these beings isn't real. Baphomet, all of these beings are not real. Why? You have to ask yourself, what do I value? Peace unto you, Misa. And if you truly value Source, A.K.A. God, if you truly value God, then you'll know, all right, Source is the basis of what truth is. So because Source is the basis of what truth is, the actual foundation for what truth is, if something does not exist next to Source, it does not exist at all. Well, in this realm, when I was astral projecting, that these beings, spirit guides, these angels called God's domain, you couldn't hate. I would try, and I would physically like I was constipated. I was like, it's not coming. It was like, what are you doing? The concept doesn't even exist there. So when certain people's prayers don't get answered, it's not because a being or God is intentionally not answering your prayers. They just didn't receive the message. That might have went over some people's heads. I said, Source does not perceive you as a being of lack. So when certain prayers do not get answered, God and the angels are not intentionally, again, they're not intentionally not giving you what you feel like you deserve. They just didn't hear it, because hate and lack and those things just don't exist. So if you pray, say, God will hear the God part. But if you say, help me with this, it won't hear that part. And then when you say amen and so it is, it'll hear that part. So when you send that type of message to God, all God hears is God, amen, God, and so it is. The in between, it doesn't matter, because Source does not perceive you as a being of lack. So when it sees you as not joyful, it's like, you are the abundant child of Source. What do you mean you're not joyful? How? Where does your source, what does your source of all this information come from? I always tell people it's the same source that Jesus tapped into. It's the same source that Buddha tapped into. Look, source is my source, and Source is the resource. Again, Source is my source, and Source is the resource. It's very simple. It's only in a generation that's void of God where they feel like direct access to God isn't possible. Again, that flew over some people's head. It's only in a generation that is void of God, a generation that has been so conflicted, self-conflictions, a generation that feels like they don't have power, a generation that feels like they have to entertain beef. You know what was so funny? This is this world. Look at this world. But if you believe in Jesus, do you believe in the Bible? No, all religions have some form of truth, but what you need to understand is Yeshua is a man. When I astral project, so when I first met Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, when I met this being, the first thing he said is, remove this idea of me that you heard of in that religion, that book, because you're going to get it face value. That person is that man, it's a master that evolved into what they call the Christ, or what we call God's will embodied. So knowing that Yeshua existed, acknowledging the fact that he existed is just a truth. It doesn't mean you have to subscribe, because Yeshua wasn't Christian. So let's start there. Yeshua was not a part of any religious structure. And we even know this further when you start diving deep into the history, not even just the history that they teach you. You go deep into other cultures and cross-reference, because you have to cross-reference information. That's how you figure out when information is true. You go to your culture. My culture is saying this about any particular master. Let's go to this culture, the Eastern religion. What are they saying about this particular master? Because for a master at that point in time to be known around the world, he traveled the world. You're not going to say, oh, Yeshua didn't travel the world, but he was known all over the world. That doesn't even logically make sense. They had no phones. He wasn't on Facebook with it. That's not saying Facebook is bad. It just wasn't invented. He traveled the world. That's why he was known all around the world. So I'm Sikh. I'm Native American. For real. The Oki Sanatapi and Nixisikoy Nisoko. I'm really like that. I'm a medicine man in the culture, one of the youngest ones, and I got introduced and initiated in the astral realms. And one thing that they were telling me is Yeshua came to us. Oh, Miss Cherokee, peace. So Yeshua came to us. And remember, everybody speaks different languages in different cultures. So they might have called him different things. Like a lot of big revered masters like that, they're called different names in different cultures. Because, certain letters didn't exist at that particular time, and certain verbs. Like for example, like a lot of native languages, most of the native languages, there is no profanities. There's none of that. So in the native culture, we would call him someone named Wanikia. But when you look at what Wanikia did, a black man, long wool-like hair, hands glowing. They say he carried the energy of the rainbow. The rainbow warriors, that frequency is of unification, of unison. So when you really start peering deep, we don't want to get too much conspiracies here, but it's kind of interesting how the rainbow warrior prophecy was about the Aquarius age, but then you have people mass manipulating it and taking the rainbow. We're not going to get too much in conspiracy, but I just find things interesting. I find it very, very interesting. But yes, Yeshua wasn't even a part of any particular religious structure. He didn't have a problem with religion, but his main thing was, yes, if you feel like you have to put structure around God, I may not agree with that, but at least you're finding God in some way. But, there's a big but. The moment you say you can only find God in this place, that's when that's a fallacy. And Yeshua is for truth. Anybody should be for truth. So when they say God is only in this religion, God is only in that religion. It's like yesterday, there was a person that was in the comment. He might have been trolling, but the first comment was very, very sincere. We felt the energy. He was talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and he was saying that that we're the chosen people. The Hebrew Israelites are for salvation, right? He was saying that. But what people don't understand is when he was talking about salvation, you're talking about salvation on earth. So as a master, I said, go ahead. You can have it. Have earth. Yes, Hebrew Israelites, salvation on earth. Have it. Because we're going home to God. You want to keep earth? You want to stay here? That's fine. And then he switched his story up because he was like, I didn't expect you. I thought you was want to go back and forth. No. If you want, at this point in time, listen, everybody, at this point in time moving forward, if someone wants to fight for this place, if someone wants to fight for density, if someone wants to fight for this place, give it to them. Because you have abundance. You have abundance. You are worthy of abundance. You are that which is the abundant and willful child of Source. The Hebrew Israelites, y'all want earth so bad. The Moors, y'all want earth so bad. Take it. No. This is directly from God's Son. Exactly. They can have the 3D world. So when people start saying like, oh, black people, we're the first person here, or we're the gods, we want to. What people don't understand is when they even though there is truth to these things, when you just regurgitate this information so much, oh, black people were the first people. Oh, and we're the kings, and we're the queens, and we're the gods, and we're this, and we're all that. When you regurgitate this information, nobody has an end goal in mind. They just think it sounds good. A lot of people just talk because it sounds good. But what are you really going to do with the information? All right, black people were here first. Now what? Oh, we're going to fight. We're going to fight for what? Fight for what? Because when you go to the realms of the light, skin doesn't matter. Vessels doesn't matter. This is all make-believe. When you go home back to Source, you're one with everything. And even now, You're one with everything. You just thought you wasn't. And this goes back into the value conversation. What do you value? Do you value time or divine orchestration? That's the theme of today. Peace unto you, Clover C8. That's the theme of today. Divine orchestration. Not divine timing. Not divine timing, divine orchestration. The reason why we say, we start our lives Friday and Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Source said, because we're talking about divine orchestration, Nadiie, the best way to have this vessel align with this frequency is for you to live it. Start at 9. Break the cycle. But I want to, no. Today's about divine orchestration. Everybody, patience. So it was like patience, and the source was like meditate in the sun. The sun was beaming in my window. Sit right there, God says, meditate in the sun. The moment I touched the sun, downloads. This is what you're talking about. This is what you're going to teach about today. Da-da-da. I'm like, all right. Simple. So what we move forth in this world with is who we are. And that's the only thing you have control over, okay? Remember, the only thing you have control over in this world is how you perceive things. Again, that might have went over some people's heads. The only thing you have control over in this world is how you perceive things. Because this world is not so to begin with, so there's nothing to control. Your perception of it is what dictates whether something is going to be what y'all call manifest or what is going to be, released or transmuted. All right. So if you don't know, my name is Nadiie Black. I am Sikh Seeker. That means Blackfoot in English. We're very, very grateful for all of your presence. See, we're going to start this service with a very wonderful, divine prayer. See, we usually do the divine prayers at the end, but now with this course, we're going to start it in the beginning. All right, is just really setting that frequency. So if you're ready for, hearing this native prayer in the native tongue, type 33s in the chat. Again, if you're ready to hear this native prayer in the tongue, if you're ready, to ground these frequencies and become who you truly are through remembrance, it's not an actual, action process. It's not an action process. You don't have to do anything. If you're ready to really roll this in, hear these native, tongue prayers, and then type 33s in the chat. If you're ready to breathe, if you're ready to experience miracles, if you're ready to leave Earth, type 33s in the chat. If you're ready for this to be your last time here, no more incarnations because you're going back to God, type 33s in the chat. If you're ready to become that realization that I don't need anybody, you don't have to give me anything because I have everything, type 33s in the chat. See, the 33, for you that don't know, it's a mudra that we created. It means Hania. And in Hopi, that means spirit warrior. When you align with the energy of 33, you're aligning yourself with that which is the spirit warrior. What is the spirit warrior? A being who exposes its wounds for it to be healed. For you cannot heal a wound if it is not exposed. You cannot put ointment over a covering. You have to expose the wound. So when you align yourself with this frequency, things may come back up in your life for sight to see and self to see. Have you actually dealt with them? Have you actually dealt with them? It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. If that ex comes back, if that job comes back, if that thought comes back, does not mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just going to see if you're going to give it power or not. Like, are you going to give these energies power or not? So I see the 33s. We're very, very grateful for your presence. Let us begin. On the count of 3, everybody take one deep breath. In unison. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Blow out through your mouth. Ayo a pesatuki espamokinan. Nakai tsitsinan. Nakeki mutsitsinan. Nakokamoto sanan. Nena. Nagista. Nah 6. Oh, tokina na pesatuki. Nakaikaki masana. Ikanapi. Nistoapi. Akanistoa. Source, thank you for guiding us all to this present, to this now, for the now is the only energies that matter. For time is not so. Past, future does not have any power unless we lend it. So today, moving forth all the coming days and nights, as the sun rises and moon falls. We shall not lend time any power. We shall not lend this world any power, for our choice is of our own construction, and our power is within us, not outside of us. So nothing will be able to disturb or obtain our power unless we are the ones that finalize the decision and giving it. So today we bring forth this awareness and bring forth and express gratitudes for guiding us to becoming this frequency that is all there is, God. Thank you very, very much. Guide us all continuously to what to say and guide us away from what not to say. Guide us all continuously how to feel, what to think, and guide us away from what not to think and what not to feel. Today is about what is. And as we move forth in this truth, we block out all illusions and recognize that, oh, we didn't even need to block it out to begin with. We didn't need to focus on this world to begin with. We didn't need to focus on hates, pains to begin with because it was not there. Because we understand that God, source, all there is all there is. So we asked ourselves the golden question. Do you believe in God? Do you know in God? Yes, we know in God. And now we anchor that since we understand that source is so, and since we understand source is abundant, omnipresent, it's everywhere, then that's going to be the basis, the foundation of our reality. So if it's not of love, for when we pray to source, we feel that which is love. When we pray to God, we feel that which is love. Because of that fact, if something is not bringing forth that which is a similar frequency to that which is all there is, it serves not to be in our reality. By our names, we affirm this, and so it is. Can I get an and so it is in the chat? Can I get an and so it is in the chat? Today, we are going to be talking about divine orchestration. Can I get an and so it is in the chat? We're so very grateful. Now, with this divine orchestration, all right? With this divine orchestration, we're going to be talking about a lot, all right? We are going to be talking about a lot. I know people like just scrolling on the live, they're scrolling past. Oh, who is this? My name is Nadiie. I am the son of Source, as are you, for we are one. Oh, you want to hear about the Anunnaki today? I got time. Oh, you want to hear about galactic wars? I got time. Or you want to hear about why the world is going the way the world is going? I got time. I got time today. But that's the human transcription of what we're saying. When you truly peer through the eyes of Source, when I say I got time, I'm not saying I got time. What I'm saying is there's a divinely orchestrated moment that I accept now. See, this goes within the first lesson of divine orchestration, not divine timing, divine orchestration. Not only does your perception have to be in order, but what's audible has to be in order. For whatever you accept, whatever you hear, you see, you feel, all of that had to go through your stamp, your construction. All of that had to go through your stamp, your construction. If you see something in the world, if you hear something in the world, if you feel something in the world, you on some level, even if you don't believe it on an overt level, you on some level subscribed to, all right, I'm allow this to be so. You know, you have some people that go to the extremes. You know, on earth, things happen that people do not like. Yes. But let's not ignore your power. See, it's earth that says, oh, when a master says something like that of everything is choice and your choice is everything. When a master says something like that, earth and the ego tries to manipulate you and say, oh, well, if you experience that, oh, that bad thing that happened in your life, that was your fault. No, this is not the time to play the blame game, but it's the time to analyze that which is the truth. The truth of the matter is you are God's will. The truth of the matter is you are God's abundant. So because you are God's will and because you are the abundance of Source, everything has to get approved by you. You're like, your life, let's say it like this, experiences around you. Experience like in the music industry, experiences around you are like samples in the music industry. But for samples to successfully get put on songs and put out in the public and in its most legal form, the samples has to be cleared. All right? If every single scenario and every single experience in your life is a sample, as if we were in the music industry, it has to be cleared by you when it comes into your presence. You are that powerful. Every single experience you experience goes through you first. So do not deny your power. That's just what the truth is. So as we move forth, what's audible, what you see, really take some time. Like, everybody just take some time to really analyze their life. Look at the life and try to simplify the life as much as possible so you can manage these type of things. Because some people, they talk about, oh, I understand that life is, of choice and all of this, but there's so much going on. Well, if there's so much going on, let's try to simplify your life. For a source is simple. See, you have some people, you literally have some people that hear the beyond, that hear the light, that know what the truth is, and they still will, bicker back and forth with you because they want to avoid responsibility. See, contrary to popular belief, spirituality isn't just about miracles, manifestations, and meditation. Again, contrary to popular belief, spirituality isn't just about miracles and all of these, modalities and meditation. It has nothing to do with that. At the root of everything, it's love. And above that root, the first blossoming is responsibility. Again, the root of spirituality, all there is, truth, it's love. See, people that are of density, that always think within their ego, wants to over-complexualize things. They can't just allow, spirituality to be so simple, because people have this idea that ascension is so grand. It's not as grand as what people, give it credit for. If you was to ascend today, go into the astral realms, go into the light realms, go into the heaven realms, you're just going to experience bliss. It's not what is marketed to be. I promise you, it's not what it's marketed to be. It's a presence. It's a presence. It's a consciousness that you carry with you. Because what people understand, like when they go into the astral, like this goes into a story, a little quick story, but when I went into the astral realms and you see people in the afterlife, you'd be surprised at how many people don't realize that they've transitioned into the afterlife. They live their normal life. But when you see certain people that made the awareness, it made the shifts. When you're in the realms of the light, looking at your hands is very, very powerful, because your hands has codes in them that remind you of who you are. And that is something that you can take very, very far with you. Again, your hands have codes in them. That's why Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, the master of masters, worked with the hands so much. He went to the Eastern cultures. He went to the mountains, into Tibet and all of these places. He learned from the monks. Yes, Yeshua learned. That's where he learned Reiki. Yeah, even the Dalai Lama was talking about this. So he understood the power of the hands, because they told him the power of the hands, but then it's a becoming process. He didn't truly get it until he practiced it. That's what we love about Yeshua. He practiced it. Even if he got it, all right, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds about right. Yeah, you can use your hands, you can perform miracles. Yes, because my Essene teachers in the land called Qumran, they taught me about alchemy and stuff like that. But until you really started to practice it, when you become, more revelations appear. That's why we say, like, in our 7-day live, if you missed the 7-day live, and I seen somebody talking about we went from the eclipse to the beyond. Well, what you must understand is that 16 hours of free teaching. That's 16 hours of free teaching. Click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Blast Guidance, it'll take you to the YouTube page. You can watch all 7 days. 16 hours. It wasn't just about the eclipse. What we understand is, just like how the stock market is, when the collective consciousness is putting so much stock into something and they're focused on something, we can utilize that energy to have people reshape their focus and focus on what actually matters. So when you listen to all of those lives, you'll realize that we was talking about becoming that which is the will of Source. That's why I say to each other, refer to each other as God's will embodied, not as brother, sister, king, or queen. Say, hey, God's will, how you doing? People actually was performing miracles in this live. We was guiding them to perform miracles, quite literally. It was like, I'm in the comments. You might not be able to see the comments in the video. Trust and believe. The people that were there, they can vouch for it. The hands was glowing, light was throbbing. We actually did a very, very sacred technique that I didn't even know that Source was going to give me clearance to even say, which was merging your higher self in your physical body. And we're going to do it again probably today. We're probably going to do that today because it came up. And right now, when you're in the flowing, when you're in this knowingness energy, people, they talk about modalities and all of these things. But when you really study, go on YouTube, go on all of these other teachers or whatever, and you look at their type of teachings, there's always an angle. There is never just my only purpose is service. You can clearly see through it. You can see through the angles. I let my intentions be known. That's why in this mastery course, Source said, do not put that which is divine statements, A.K.A. prayers, at the end of the service. Put it in the beginning so the intention is set. Remember I told y'all, people would be like, why are you doing this? You want to be famous? You want to be this? No. Matters not. Like Bob Marley said, you deal with fame by not dealing with fame. It actually gives you nothing. What serves for me, the overall intention is, I don't want a single one of you to go into the afterlife, talk to God, and say you didn't tell me. None of y'all have that excuse. Because Source is going to say, per your Akashic records, my child, I sent my son through live. You clicked on the video. You just either didn't listen or you listened. It's simple. It's very, very simple. Life is actually very, very simple. So it's a becoming process. You have to become. That's why in that 7-day, live, quote unquote, for the eclipse, it was titled For the Eclipse, Mastery Course for Eclipse Preparation. That's what it was titled. Remember, it's preparation. Because remember, all the eclipse was shining and shedding light on something differently. That's all the eclipse is. Remember, we are seekers, so we see things in its most symbolic form. The elders, the native elders, they always tell us, see everything in its most symbolic form. Don't try to view things so literal. See things in a symbolic way, because God is not linear. There is no point A, point B type answers with God. God gives you something. That's why Yeshua spoke in parables. God will give you something that you can apply in multiple scenarios. Source will give you a particular phrasing or divine statement or prayer or form of advice or guidance, and Source will be able to Source can give that piece of guidance to, let's say, if there was 100 people on Earth, Source can give that guidance to all 100 people, and there will be literally 100 different outcomes. That's how God works. There is not no, I'm gonna give you the one way and that's the way. And one of the reasons why the services are called the way, if you're going to even dive even deeper, if you understand the true history of Yeshua, right, you'll know that the being didn't die. The being actually transcended, merged within the light, and now is within everybody. It's a consciousness. So even when you not even just Yeshua, even Buddha, even Krishna, Yogananda, all of these beings that evolved, they always tell you stop identifying with the body. Even if you want to say the name Jesus, even if you want to say the name Buddha, Yogananda, even if you want to say these names, right? They say you do them a big disservice. All of them in unison speak through this vessel right now. They say you do us a disservice if you say our name and think about the flesh that we evolved past. If you say Jesus or Buddha or Krishna and you think about the consciousness, which is all things, even in you, you do them a service. There's this one story about Yeshua walking into a town and, word got around the street about his miracles and stuff. And then you had some women come up to him and say, Yeshua, how could we ever, send our gratitudes for you? How could we ever support you? You know what Yeshua told these ladies? Do you know what Yeshua told these ladies? If you want to flatter me, be like me. Become. Don't follow me. Become. So it's a becoming process. And as we was talking about in the Eclipse Lives, yes, it was titled For the Eclipse, but we were guiding people to becoming the light. So the last day was about Christ consciousness and learning how to implement it. And we actually performed miracles. People was actually in the comments, like, if you watch the day 7, right? If you go on my page, Nadiie Black's Guidance, and click the link in the bio, Nadiie Black's Guidance, you'll see the YouTube page. Click day 7, right? If you actually watch all the days, but it's 16 hours, so I get it. Day 7 was literally integrating Christ consciousness. Source was like, Nadiie, something big is going to happen today, so be more patient with people today. And it was interesting that there wasn't a lot of trolls and judgment and hate for 6 days. 6 days of the teachings. It was 11 hours worth of teachings. No trolls, no hate, no judgment, none of that. The 7th day, the last day, they all flooded. No conspiracy here, but it's just interesting. No conspiracy. It's just interesting that they all flooded the last day because the frequency was put out. Source said we're going to perform a giant miracle today. We got it all to becoming that which is the light. But Source said be patient with people. So I spent about an hour going within the flow and talking to these people that was distributing this hate and breaking down their arguments to where they actually would just stop talking because there was nothing else to be said. And then after that, Source said, go. And we guided everybody to these powerful frequencies. Day 6 and day 7 was all about that. But day 7, we literally performed miracles because in the comments, these people were saying, oh, if you're so powerful, if you could do this light, if you could do all of this, perform a miracle right now. But what they don't understand is you're talking to an aspect of yourself. You're talking to Source's son. I am the son of God, as are you, for we are one. But so when you're saying that, you're allowing your ego to get in the way. All these beings that was bringing forth those judgments, they were just archetypes. That's why we judge not. They're aspects of ourselves. They are the embodiment of our own doubts, our own fears. So don't act like, you haven't feared or you haven't doubted. That's why it was more patient, because at one point in time, yes, I feared, yes, I doubted. At one point in time, it's human. But now it's about a choice whether you're going to subscribe to that and keep laying in that pain. Jesus stubbed his toe before, but he's not going to be able to stay in that density because he evolved past it. People forget that Buddha, yes, Buddha hurt his arm before. Buddha's back hurt before. But he stopped focusing on it. He didn't allow that to be, the foundation of his entire existence. We just make funny comments. It's funny that I'm a source present being. I'm literally God embodied. And I think my back hurts. That's actually pretty funny. See, when Yeshua would feel fear because he was human. If Yeshua felt fear, if Yeshua cut himself, if you hurt Yeshua, he might let out an owl. But what he would do, he would instantly forgive himself. He does something called instant correction. That's what Yeshua does, instant correction. If you slice him, ow. But the moment he says ow, forgiveness is already right there. I forgive myself for perceiving I could be hurt. I forgive all others for participating in this idea that I can be hurt. I cannot be hurt, for I am the abundant child of God. When you actually anchor that which is the truth and you actually know it, if you got cut, the cut would disappear because you're a God-present being. There's proof of this on this world. It's something called the placebo effect. There's proof of something like this on this world right now called the placebo effect. Literally. If you value, let's for example say you have a headache, right? There's literally proof of this concept, of this becoming self concept. One of the main reasons why people are able to perform miracles is because it's similar to the placebo effect. If you have a headache, right? And I put a sugar pill. Yes, will these be posted on YouTube? Yes. I have 3 videos. I'm gonna post all of them on YouTube today because I got enough space. But if I put a sugar pill and an ibuprofen and you have a headache, if you value relief, remember it's the value. If you, a person with a headache, value relief, and I structure everything right, when you take this ibuprofen bottle, even though there's sugar pills in it, if you was to take the sugar pill, you would actually feel relief. Why? Because of your own values. That should tell everybody. I don't get how some people didn't translate that piece of information, because science can't go too far in metaphysics because, a lot of these things, quote unquote, can't be proven in your typical sense, but they can. A lot of things can be proven. When there's a point you can get to with spirituality, right? There's a point that you get to. KPD, we're getting to that point, and it's essentially, as above, so below. There are things on this world that translate very well into the beyond. When you start talking about the beyond, KPD, you must understand this. Like the Albert Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Let's translate that into spirituality. You cannot understand the beyond. You cannot solve that problem, but understanding the beyond with the same mind that thought you separate of it. Again, KPD, that might have went over your head, KPD. You can't understand God with a mind that thought it was separate from God. So you have to, that's why Yeshua spoke in parables. And the proof, and this is what we were going into. The proof of all of this, right? Of course, after we give the analogies, which we did, the proof is On this planet, science actually proved that your mind is capable of making definitive solutions and decisions that affect the entire body, whether the body believes in something at one point in time or not. If a person who with a headache values relief so much, if I give you something and you believe me, if I give you something and I say this is for relief, even if it's not for relief, you value relief so much you're going to experience it. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with what I gave you. It has everything to do with you. The mind. More proof of this is there's literally, you can look all of this stuff up. We all know about the placebo effect, but let's even go deeper. Another proof of the mind being able to dictate things in its own reality is this. There was a story about this Caucasian man going meditating in, I don't know, if it might have been Alaska, but it was in a very, very, very cold area. It might have been Alaska. He was meditating, right? So long that his body temperature got so high, he had no shirt on. He had like booty shorts on. No shirt, booty shorts. Body temperature on fire. Withstanding that cold temperature. Because of the mind. That's a mind decision. Because if you remove the brain, the mind in that decision, because the brain and the mind are different. But for human transcription, we know people associate the mind with the brain, so we got to meet people where they are. But those that know what we're actually talking about. The mind. If you was to remove the mind or the brain from that person while he's trying to meditate, it wouldn't happen. What does that tell you? If you remove the thing and it doesn't happen, and you put the thing in it and it happens, oh, the mind is that powerful. So if the mind is able to adjust literal, quote unquote, physical laws, literally, if the mind is able to defy physical laws that they say how the body operates like this, the body does this, the body does that, the body does this. If the mind is able to do that, raise the temperature. This is an article you can look at. You want proof? I can keep giving you proof. You want proof? Look at this article. There was multiple stories about it. And don't just go to one website. You do something called cross-referencing. You go to one website, then go to another, you compare information. What information is the same? What is different? And then you ask, why is it different from here? Is somebody lying, or did they not have the full truth? You go to 7 different websites. You cross-reference. So, that's another. Because the point of all of this is your mind is powerful enough to change your reality. And the reality is laws. All reality is a set of laws that people choose to abide by or not. That's all reality is. Set of laws that people choose to abide by or not. So if one law is broken, and that's an actual fact, that is what reality is. Reality is about structure. It's about a specific set of laws in order. And if you abide by them, then that's your reality. Well, if these realities are so secure and concrete in a lot of people's eyes, the masses' eyes, scientists' eyes, if they say, for example, gravity, look, this is how science works. If they have all of these definitive laws, right? They have all of these definitive laws, and they say this law interacts with this law, and this law interacts with this law because this is all a part of the law of Earth or the third dimension. Well, if one of those laws get broken, it's a chain link. When one piece of a chain pops, the whole thing pops. So if one person on Earth decides to start floating and defy the laws of gravity, now all the laws of the Earth is now out of whack. If one person on Earth decides to change the laws of how the human body works on command, then all of the other, you have to question all of them. That's how science is. If we've been living, that's why when you look at 100 years worth of science discoveries and interpretations, you will see that literally like every 10 years, science will say something, then they will retract it and add to it. They'll say, oh, we was wrong about this at that time. It's actually this. Or we was wrong about this and that time. It's actually this. That's an actual fact. It goes into this. At one point in time, this is all proof. Look these type of things up. At one point in time, every single thing in this world has been deemed unrealistic. No human could ever naturally float in our atmosphere. Nice try. Go to Tibet then. See, you don't say that until you go to Tibet. Go to Tibet. Go to the Eastern religions. It's actually possible. There's people that have lived actually for thousands of years. It's very possible. See, it's these type of people. Everybody, send that which is love to KPD, because this person is an archetype of, you know, the doubts and fears that some people may have. But all we say is, if you want to learn how to fly, if you actually want to learn these things, right, you have to put in work, because it goes to our original statements. There's a fine line, right, between spirituality and science, right, and what y'all think proof is, right? Science can only get so far before it reaches metaphysical land. They even created the term metaphysics, because they know, okay, that we're going to call all of that metaphysics. We're not really going to get to that, because there's not a lot of tangible things. But if you want to learn about these things and take them back, in spirituality, you have to become. So KPD, if you want more evidence about floating and all of these type of things, right? If you actually are about the life of knowingness, do a lot of research on Tibet. Do a lot of research on yogis. Do a lot of research on this, and you'll find, look, reality is based upon perception, but also you are able to attract things. So you can go do research, put it in the frequencies, put that frequency into the ethers, and actually attract a video that isn't native to your reality. I've actually tried this. Before we even get to another real bomb truth type of thing, we have to guide you to integration. I'm not going to allow you to deny your own power, because it's the truth. You, whether you deny it or not, you have power. I've actually experienced where I was looking for a piece of information, right? Everybody said that information doesn't even exist. No one has ever even looked up that type of information. It's type of spiritual gift. But because God is limitless, remember, limitless, there's no limit. People like to put limits on God. Because there's no limit, since I anchored God within me, I moved into looking this type of information up. I put that frequency into the ethers, and guess what? The information came up. But I thought it wasn't. I actually created a portal, went to a reality where the information was there. And I brought it back here. And then when I tried to look it up again, it disappeared. It was gone. So I mean, you have that power to literally shape your reality. That's literally just a fact. But if any of you are actually serious about getting spiritual information, learning how to fly, learning how to manifest, and I'm going to get to your question, Kai. If any of you are actually serious, you can follow science, but science is going to get you to this precipice, right? Then you have to start integrating spiritual gifts like astral projecting. Again, if you want to talk about KPD, look. Now remember, when I talk about KPD, I'm actually talking to all of your doubts and all of your fears. It's an archetype. Practice astral projecting, but you have to actually become. See, it's only people in this world that like to talk and they like to deny without actually applying anything. See, people in this world, when the light comes, God is in your face. The Son of God is in your face telling you a truth. Your own ego, you value ego more than you value God. The Son of God is literally telling you an actual truth, but you value ego more. So you know what the Son of Source says? Listen, start astral projecting then. Practice astral projecting. Research astral projecting. I mean, you want to know proof so much, I can actually DM you the government document. You want so much proof, right? I can DM you the government document. Pages and pages. I actually have it saved because there were people actually fought in court to get these documents revealed. Though you think we're talking to KPD, we're actually talking to all of your doubts and fears. There were actually secret court sessions and people was giving like lawsuits to like the government to release this type of information. They released it under the radar just so they can say we released it though, but people wasn't paying attention. You want proof? There's government articles. I can DM you all the articles. So boom, astral projecting. You don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to a master, little Son of Source, as you are, for we are one, about astral projecting and all of these spiritual gifts. That's fine. Listen to the government that deceives you all the time. But when one thing they can't lie about is what the truth is. They can only cover up the truth. They can't lie about the truth. They can only cover it up. But when we used their own laws against them, took them to court, when we took the governments to court and said, we know that you're using astral travel and projecting We know you're teaching that in your militaries. We know you're teaching it in your militaries. That's when there's certain ETs and situations and stuff pop up, and people are seeing these men in black and all of that. People are actually projecting to you. That's if you look at all of the story, and this is, I know this information because I actually project every single night. But when you go into the stories of all of these things, the moment someone has an actual experience of an ET, like an actual encounter, it's like these quote unquote men in black instantly come. Fallen angel. I'm gonna tell you what my beliefs are. It's like they instantly come. The reason is because these beings know how to project themselves into people's realities. Because of frequency, what you must understand is when you see things of supernatural balance, right? When you see things with a foundation of that which is supernatural, you actually emit a frequency. Even if you don't acknowledge it or not. If you see an ET or an alien or whatever, you actually emit a frequency saying, because look, to see them is to actually be on their frequency. Them, literally, a whole mojo. Because the divine law of what you see is what you are is a divine law. So if you see something of the beyond, that means you're at that frequency. So a frequency gets emitted, and all of the beings in the government, they're able to see, oh, that person just seen something that is a native to his reality. Well, how do you know, Jack? There's Jack, the CIA agent, talking to Sam, the CIA agent. How do you know, Jack? Well, we sent one of our military people over there to survey the area in the astral realms, and his frequency is very, very different. That only happens when he sees something abnormal. Somebody sent some people over there. That's how it happens. Somebody sent some people over there to see what's going on in the astral realms. We have crazy dreams all of a sudden after certain experiences. We're getting chased by things after certain, all of these things, yeah. The government does this. So, KPD wanted proof. DMing will give you the government articles. The government articles. Astral projection, astral travel, the power of the mind, how they actually teach military operatives these things. CIA Gov. This is like, you see how people quiet now. They wanted proof so bad. DM me, I'll give you it. I will save you the time from looking it up. Anybody that wants these articles, that say you missed it, I would save you all the time of looking it up. DM me. If you don't want to believe the literal son of source, as are you, for we are one. If you don't want to believe the literal son of source, as are you, for we are one, believe the government that lies to you every day. But one thing they can't lie about is the truth. They can only cover it up. But when we use their own laws against them, when we take them to court, they say, all right, we're going to release the information, but ain't nobody going to pay attention to it. We're going to do it under the radar. We're not going to have a press release. We're not going to have the news cover it. The government finally gave articles and miracles and techniques and how to do it. And oh my gosh, so this is what Jesus was doing. And They teach their military operatives. Yeah, well, we'll give you the articles, but we're not going to publicize it. You can go on the CIA Gov. You can go on the government websites and get this type of information. People are quiet now. And this right here, this is what the ego does. The ego wants to beat up the light so bad. How does trying to beat up the light actually benefit you? How does everybody? Think for a second. There is the literal son of source in front of you, another Christ conscious being in front of you, telling you to love more, saying that we don't got to do pains anymore. I can actually give you proof of all of this stuff. And you have people that actually want to, how does it benefit you to attack these people? How? Why? And for the other people around here, listen, sometimes we have to stand on something. So you don't have to attack somebody if they're attacking, right? You don't have to attack somebody if they're attacking. Fallen angel is not Christ consciousness. I mean, it is Christ consciousness, but in our interpretation, we will call it God's will. But we meet people where they are. We would call it God's will. But people call that frequency Christ consciousness. So as a master, it's about bridging. If I know you utilize the term Allah and you don't align with like saying, great central sun or God too much, but you like the term Allah, God cares not about the journey, only the destination. I'll say Allah. I don't care. I have no problem with religions. If you say, Nadiie, I love what you're saying. Can you come to my church and pray with me? I'll pray with you. I have no problem with any of these things. But it's what being a master is bridging. So that we'll utilize the people that see, they know what's actually going on. So when I utilize certain terms that the masters may agree, it's like, for example, I would say there's actually a specific term. You say you're not Christ consciousness. You are. I'll answer both questions. You're not Christ consciousness. Look, you are so Christ consciousness. And that's a perfect example of how God, literally, fallen angel. You're so Christ consciousness. Fallen angel. You're so on God's will. You just align yourself with literally how God sees prayers. You said I'm not Christ consciousness, right? I didn't even compute that. I didn't even read that because that statement in itself is a fallacy. You see how when I was reading your thing, it was a complete different question. That's how God interprets your prayers. If it's something that's disempowering, God sees you as my child. God stands for y'all. You can't say it was for somebody else. You can't say the truth. The truth is always going to be the truth, fallen angel. The truth is always going to be the truth. It's like this. What Jay-Z say? I'm not black. I'm OJ. Okay. The truth is always going to be a truth. That's fine. But when we actually anchor all of this energy, what we understand is all is source. You're dealing with a Christ conscious being. So we see all as one regardless. And God is our foundation of what truth is, or what we call source. That's our foundation of truth. So you can play make-believe all you want and say I support this or support this, but even Luciferian energy is not as bad as what people think. All Luciferian energy is the embodiment of choice. That's all it is. Now when you start utilizing terms like Satan and Baphomet, now you're starting to get into, this is the deeper, darker. Then now you're starting to get the deeper, darker energies. But even that is not even so, because those things aren't even real. I'm gonna tell y'all quick, then I'm gonna get back on what we were originally talking about. Because remember, source guides this flow. This is a flow. I need all of you to understand that we need this to be like a conversation, because I'm your friend. Not only am I the son of source, as are you for real one, I'm your friend. This is like a conversation. Don't see this as a master talking. See yourself in me. I remember we had a situation with the quote-unquote Baphomet, right? In the astral realms. But because of the divine law, what you see is what you are. And because I am the son of source, I emit this light in the realms of spirit and in these realms as well. When the Baphomet was around me, it was in my kitchen. I told it to look at me in the eyes, because what you see is what you are. No matter how powerful a being is, when the literal son of God or the will of God, as you are, comes in presence, if any being, no matter what construction, they could be the top boss of all the darkness in hell. If they look at the light, they transcend. So that's why, and I'm giving y'all some deep. I don't even know we're gonna go here. There's one of the main reasons why when you go into the lower levels of the ethers, you have beings with no face, with no eyes, with no face and no eyes. It's because they know the divine law. What you see is what you are. So they'll rather remove their eyes than see the light, because they know if they see the light, they're literally going to go transcend and go back to God. So when I wasn't scared of what the Baphomet energy was, and I looked at that energy and I said, look at me in the eyes. Come here. Talk to me. It closed its eyes, started running at me and was trying to hit me, and then God put us in different dimensions. The reason is because of it actually has no power. So when you know who you are, you know what it is. Let's get into some of these comments real quick. But what you see is what you are. And the truth is what the truth is. Source is one with all things. Source is all things. No matter how holy you think you not are or how holy you think you is, you're still going to be the abundant child of source regardless. You're not going to get me to ever doubt, disrespect, or hate you, period. Because that's not what we do as the son of source, as the children of God. That's just not what we do. You're too stubborn. Only the ego utilizes the term stubborn. The truth is just what the truth is. The truth is what the truth is. Everybody, what you're all displaying and what we're all displaying right now is the knowingness of source, even in the presence of what people will call wicked. Type 33. Everybody, type 33s in the chat if you see what's going on. You have a people that is saying, oh no, we're followers of the most dark. We're followers of Satan. We're followers of Lucifer. I don't give you that much power. That doesn't exist in my reality. And it's really, and it's what I'm saying, yeah, like I'm not wrong and you're not wrong either. And that's the beautiful thing. Like what we're displaying is so cosmic. You're not wrong for being on what you think the dark is, and I'm not wrong for being in what I think the light is. But what Source understands, Source, brother or sister, there's not even sides to this. Everything just is. But what Source understands is this. If whatever you're in, the Source in you better be all in or not. If you're indecisive about anything, exactly. If you're indecisive about anything, that's not God. That's the dark energies. But if you're decisive, I'm a Luciferian. People don't even know what Luciferian energy is. That energy is actually useful because it's of choice. All it is the embodiment of choice, the form of choice. But what people do on Earth is they morph that energy into, oh, Luciferian energy is all of choice, then I'm going to just start acting wild. And it gets a bad rap. So what we're saying is because there's a nice chunk of the collective consciousness that think like that, don't just say, oh, I heard the Son of God talk about Luciferian energy one day, so I must tap into it. No. What you must understand is you have to be prepared for that. You have to have a strong level of discernment, like how we're interacting. The best way God can explain things to you all is for y'all all to witness how it is for a light being to talk to a being that is a master in the dark. Y'all have to be so secure in God, in the light, that you don't even see the dark. You only see what they say about themselves. And what do we say with that, everybody? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's what it is. You literally don't do it. Because look, dark energy, all dark energy, it feeds on your doubts. It feeds on your insecurity. It feeds on your usage of ego. It feeds on your usage of ego. So if you don't utilize any of that, like I see the master in him, he sees the master in me, and we're kind of sick. Like it's like we're just chilling, two masters. It's like, I do what I do, and I'm like, I do what I do. And it's like, what's up? That's why I can say I no matter what, fallen angel. I know you don't got the ego. Let me talk to the people because they align with these. We know what's going on. But when you're in this light and you're standing in your full expression, you have to just be that. You can't allow anything to rattle you. You're literally watching it, real time. So, yes. If this all makes sense, everybody, if standing in your full expression, no matter what is in front of you, no matter what it tells you, is in your forefront, is your priority, if that all makes sense, if what we just displayed makes sense, type 33s in the chat. If you're seeing the value in the interaction, if you're seeing the value in the expression, type 33s in the chat. And remember, everybody, God also gives what y'all think tests are. If you see somebody in the comments having and asking a question and Nadiie is intentionally not asking it or answering it, either way, because we're all one. So when you ask it, I ask it. When you answer it, I answer it. If you see that and you're not doing anything, you see Nadie's not saying it, it's a test for you two because you're all masters. Remember, this is the mastery course. So only masters are even infatuated with the mastery course. This doesn't say mastery for only the light workers. This doesn't say mastery for only the good people or mastery for all the bad people. It's masters. Period. So you're going to have masters of the dark. You're going to have masters of the light. You're going to have warlocks. You're going to have priests. You're going to have pastors. You're going to have spiritual leaders. You're going to have everybody because it's masters. Because God doesn't care about the journey, only the destination. Detroit Red became Malcolm X. So don't come to me judging somebody because you don't like the way they like to operate within their lives. Because little do you know, they have a long life soul mission. And at the end of that soul mission, they could be one of the most revered, grandest of light workers in the history of all time. But you didn't give them enough time because you wanted to cancel them. You wanted to judge them. Detroit Red became Malcolm X. Go look at what Detroit Red was doing. You saying that's not no leader. Like, I tell you right now, Detroit Red ain't no leader. People would try to cancel him. People would say, why are you trying to lead the people? Why are we always putting so much energy in the thugs? All of this, right? Detroit Red became Malcolm X. A warlock can become the most powerful priest. Oh no, if your brain goes to quick judgment, you're not as spiritual as you say you are. See, right now it's about breaking down the structures that people think they have. If you for God, you're for God. If you say God judges no one, you judge no one. If you say God loves all, you love all. I got a question for everybody. This is a quick little interacting, right? Quick little interacting. Everybody say yes or no, right? Do you believe God loves you? Everybody say yes or no. Do you believe God loves you? Exactly. When you judge someone, you judge yourself, fallen angel. Everybody, yes or no. Do you believe God loves you? Everybody type yes or no. Do you believe God loves you? Fallen angel, I am God. I love you, so I do. All right. If God loves you already, right? Let's say we're in a relationship, everybody. Let's say we're in a holy connection, all right? You're the divine feminine, I'm the divine masculine. Or I could be the divine feminine, you can be the divine masculine, whatever. I asked you, do you believe God loves you? Y'all say yes. All right? So then I say, I had to do a little puzzle piece for the verification. I say, if God already loves you all, why do we have to then wait for our ego to feel like it has to receive something in order for us to distribute love? Why only in this world, when someone displays a high amount of love, they call it love bombing? Why in this world is love not as priority? If God already loves you and God is all there is already, if God put his stamp on you already, why would I put my ego above God? People actually put their ego above God when they already affirm that God loves them. When we already affirm that God loves all, you put your ego above God when you say, I'm not going to love you until you show me something to love. What? Do y'all know? Does that make sense? Type 33 if that makes sense, y'all. Type 33 in the chat if that makes sense. Type 33 in the chat if that makes sense. If God already loves you and God is all there is, there's nothing better than source. Right? There's nothing better than source. If that already loves you, who am I in this little flesh to say, I'm not going to show my love until you show me something that my ego can like? Huh? Huh? That's actually humble. Because what you're doing is you're humbling yourself. You're saying, my ego doesn't matter. Because what created me already loves you. So if that loves you, I'm going to love y'all eternally. So when I say I love each and every one of you, it's not just a vessel saying it. I speak as every angel. I speak as every spirit guide. I speak as every dimension. I speak as everything. When I say I love you, we all say we love you. When I say I love myself, we all say we love each other. Y'all are that powerful. Y'all are that powerful. It's just the truth. So you have another archetype coming in, right? Exactly. It's a we thing. And this is how you know it's the truth, right? You have someone who is a master in the dark also agreeing what this is. That should tell y'all enough of what's going on right now, right? You have a master in what y'all think the dark is. Even though I don't necessarily see what the dark is, just people see what the dark y'all want to believe in light and dark, fine. But even you have that master saying, you know what he's saying is right. It is a we thing. So now we got another archetype. Murphy's lawyer. Another one of our doubts and fears got manifested into a person signing up for the mission. Because Murphy's lawyer could have easily just get passes, but a part of his soul, there was a agreement. If I see this frequency, I want to align with that frequency. So we got another person saying that no, that's an ego trip. Saying that God loves you already, so I'm gonna love you. That's an ego trip. That sounds like that's such an ego thing to say. That's such an ego thing to say. And what we say is it's a humbling process. It's a humbling process. I love you. God loves you. I love you because God loves you. Simple. If that all made sense to everybody, if y'all got it, if y'all see the value in that, type 33s in the chat so we can move on. If that all made sense to everybody, type 33s in the chat so we can all move on. We all have to love. We all have love capacity if we just admit to it. Exactly. If that all made sense, if y'all seen the value of what just happened. All right. Everybody, if you have any questions, right? Because remember, this is also interactive. I'm your brother. I'm your friend. All right? Want to guide this. If anybody got any questions, if I didn't answer any of your questions or any of that, just retype them. All right, type your questions in the chat. We want to guide this. And remember, all of you are masters. So if I'm intentionally not answering a specific question, it's because I see a master somewhere in these comments, which is all of you. So one of you have the answers. Actually, all of you have the answers. But make sure you show up for your brothers and sisters. People talk about they want to find a spiritual family. People talk about they want to find a spiritual lineage. Well, you got one. You're in one. Name another person out here doing a mastery course for the beyond, for God itself. Actually displaying and prioritizing that which is the light. Because even as we move deeper, because remember, God is not going to feed you a full course meal if you're a baby. God is not going to feed a baby a full course meal. He's going to give it his Cheerios, his applesauce. Yes, we're going to do that sacred technique that we did on day 7 of the 7-day teachings for the eclipse that you can actually watch. Click in the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance, you'll see it, for free. Yes, we're going to display that high level, powerful gift again. But before we get to that point, we have to make sure everybody is on the same page. This is not just you seeing a master. This has nothing to do with the vessel. See not the flesh, for the flesh is weak and the spirit is willing. Willing to what? Display that which is truth. So we have fallen angels saying, what is love? What is love? Love is a knowingness. Love is a presence. A knowingness and a presence. See, love is the little bit of description, the little chink, little chisel that we had hit in the rock. So if God is a big mountain, right? Humans, again, if God is a big mountain, right? Humans, we aren't able to really fathom the power of that big mountain, which is God. We can only get a piece of it and make sense of it like in a small way. So us, we get a little hammer and a little chisel, we chip off a piece of God and we say, this looks pretty. That's what love is. For love doesn't even explain what God is. We say love not unconditionally, for unconditional love is still of duality. It's, I shall not be conditional, so I will be unconditional. You see, I shall not be conditional, that's one path, so I shall be unconditional, that's duality. God loves perfectly. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But even perfect love, just that description of it doesn't fully show and reveal what God actually is. Because you're still, remember the Albert Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You can't understand the beyond with the same mind that thought you separate of it. The only way for you to truly understand more of what God is for you to leave the physical body. Or if you have a hard time astral projecting or going to the spirit realms and things of that nature, leave the identifications and the descriptions and the ideas of the physical body. And that's how you transcend in the flesh. You leave what the flesh values and you value in the flesh what the spirit values. And then all of a sudden, both spirit and flesh will value. So love is the smallest aspect of a description of what we have to that which is source. Questions? Anybody got questions? Questions? Type them in. Why would I compare my path and judge another based on that? Another ego. I care about what's true, and I care to get people to critically think. Y'all vote and affect my life. That last part. Y'all vote and affect my life. I care about what's true and care to get people to critically think. Y'all vote and affect my life. Rephrase that last part. Bring a little more critical thinking. Because what you're saying and the frequency behind what you're saying is very critical in thinking. Because even though people may think this person named Murphy is intentionally going against what the light is, it's actually not. It's actually doing something that's masterful. I say question everything. When you just hear some light, don't just instantly go with it. I don't care if you think God gives it to you. Don't instantly just go with it. Question it. Have it go through your feet. Have a conversation with Source. Remember, Source doesn't care if you're a servant of it or not. Source, A.K.A. God, doesn't need your service. You can't say in one breath that God has everything and then say in the next breath, God needs my service. If anybody, if Source needed any service, why would it be from a human? Let's think logically for a second, everybody. Let's think logically. God doesn't need service, period, right? But if it did, why would it need it from the lower totem pole? A human. Humans can't get along. They can't even get along with each other. Y'all can't even get it right with yourselves. If anybody, God would get service from the fifth dimension, sixth, the Pleiades, the Sirius, not the humans. So God really don't need your service. Because God has everything. God doesn't care about your service. God just cares about loving you. A true parent. We're going to use an analogy, right? A true parent. Not just like a person that, a nut. Not a person that just had an egg or... No. A true parent loves their child. A true parent isn't wanting to make a slave out of their child. Because people must understand. So on earth, if what a true parent is just love, you can only imagine of how much love, in abundance that God has for you, or Source has for you. So, Murphy, we know it's okay. It's okay to question. Everybody, it's okay to question. We always say question because you never just want to go act on a whim or anything. You have to make it make sense for yourself. So he's performing his masterful birthright, which is, I'm going to question everything. All right, everybody. So, now that we got that, I'm going to be talking about some very, very powerful stuff. And then make sure, everybody, when you're participating as masters with one another, you give everybody space. You hold space for one another. There's no bickering back and forth. Make sure you give everybody space. Because everybody has a point. And remember, God cares about the journey to destination. But I love the interacting. Because, we're all part of the spirit family. All right? This mastery course for the beyond, right? The theme is divine orchestration. Everybody, look around you and look at the world, right? You know what was so interesting to me that I seen? I don't usually go on Twitter, right? I don't usually go on Twitter. But I went on Twitter yesterday. Maybe I haven't been on there in like a few years. But I went on Twitter yesterday, right? I just wanted to see, what was trending. Source was guiding me. He was like, yo, go on trending. I'm like, all right. You know what I seen? This is this world. We had World War III, UFC, and Rick Ross. Huh? The War of Worlds. Some dudes punching each other. And Rick Ross. That's the top 3 things on people's minds right now. What are we in? This now. Do y'all see? Do y'all see how illusionary this world is? The world doesn't even take itself serious. Again, everybody, the world doesn't even take itself serious. So why are you taking the world so serious? Love more. Love more. Anchor that which is light. Anchor that which is love. This is divine orchestration. Remember I told y'all in the lies for the eclipse how when we went into the astral realms, when we astral projected, we went into the astral realms and God actually gave us clearance. Again, God actually gave us clearance to align our frequency with the realm that we were actually inhabiting within our quote-unquote physical body. You don't actually have that type of capability unless God gives you clearance. So, essentially, let's say you were in the fourth dimension, right? And you astral project. God is not going to allow you to go to your same dimension because you have some people that have no integrity. So when they go there, they're just trying to find their lottery numbers or something like that. But when I went into there, I seen a war happening. I told y'all. We actually predicted this. You're going to go watch it. We actually predicted this. We remember I told y'all there was a war that was happening. And the moment us, not as in with this vessel, but the moment the light went on the battlefield, the wars stopped. That's how powerful y'all. We literally told y'all about this. Literally told y'all about this. But people don't want to believe in prophecy. They still don't want to believe in God. They still don't want to believe in miracles. Remember the KPD person, like that archetype, talking about proof. We're giving them the proof, and now it's like, oh, everything is silent. God gives you everything. Source gives you everything that serves. Right? Source gives you everything that serves, but it's an applying process. It's like how important, how much do you actually value the light? Because you have people that just want to troll, you have people that just want to judge, you have people that just want to hate because for the sake of it. But then you also have people that hate and that judge, but then they're only doing it because they don't know and they fear. So when you guide them to, no, this is what the truth is. The truth is this. I can give you government articles about this stuff. If you don't want to believe the literal Son of God, as are you, for we are one. If you don't want to believe that light, I can give you articles about the government talking about the exact same thing and more descriptive and science. You can use all the scientific words, right? We can give you all of these proofs, and because right now it's about divine orchestration. That's what the theme of today is. Everything that you're hearing right now, when you exit the live, when you join the live, the next video after this, the video before this live, all of these things are connected. After this class, when you go out in the world, everything is all connected because God is trying to talk to you in every possible way. There's body language. There's light language. There's the language of the beyond. There's the language of that you utilize with your own tongue, English or whatever language you speak on earth. There's a language of signs. There's a language of what's audible. There's a language of presence. There's a language of telepathy. There's a language. There's actually a reality language where God will literally. Do you know we're gonna talk about this either? There's also a reality language, and when you change your frequency enough, and you integrate more love, right? Simple, because God is simple. God actually can speak to you through reality, the whole reality. So when you align yourself with the frequency of love, God lines up a lot of portals back to back. Portals of different realities that are slightly different. So like in this reality, your car keys is on this side of the room. So when you go in that reality, like where are my car keys at? I put them right here. No, they're over there. Small things like that. But they're all lined up. You know what show explains this best? His Dark Materials. Everybody, if you're going, have any of y'all heard of the show His Dark Materials on HBO? It actually explains. There was that show is actually based on a book that the church has banned. That show is based on a book that the church has banned. If the church bans anything, all of us should focus on it. What was in the book? What was so bannable about it? What was so bannable about it? When the church bans, and then they finally released the ban, so now a movie was able to be, or not a movie, but a TV show was able to be made. His Dark Materials explains this well. It explains it so well. There's actually, every reality is in one. So it's like this. Every reality is like a line, right? It's like a string. But they're all pressed together. They're all one. Every reality is like a string, but they're all pressed together. And this boy, one of the chosen ones, there's like this knife that can cut in between realms. But you cut in between your realm, and you just go to the next one because it's a string. You cut it like a zipper. You unzip it. You go on to the next one because it's parallels right next to each other, and then you zip it back up. When you align yourself with that which is the light and with that which is love, remember, it's the show is called His Dark Materials. It actually explains this concept, perfection. There's a lot of things surrounding it. It's a TV show, so you will have some things that's like that you can tell that was like movie based. It was talking about arcane. It was talking about a lot. But what was movie based? It said Archangel Metatron was evil, and that was the big bad, and all of this. Like, you have to have a bad guy like that. So all of that was movie based because there's no good or bad in like realm of the spirit. But what they nailed was actually how realities look. Like, even the intro, you can literally see how it looked. That's what I seen in the realms of spirit when I was astral projecting. So God actually can speak to you through realities. And what happens is kind of like how in that show, when the boy opens the portals with the knife, God will open up the portals. And you'll just be walking. You'll just be living your normal life. But you'll be in a new reality like every second is that fast. Everybody travels reality so fast. And in this dimension, like, I'm gonna give y'all a description of it. Say God wants to talk to you and you're being so hard-headed. Because mind you, everybody, exactly, deja vu as well. Mind you, God doesn't really care for miracles in the physical reality. Why? Because if miracles happen in the physical reality, that was the last resort. If anything spiritual, contrary to popular belief, right? If anything spiritual from the realms of heaven, from the realms of light, happened in the physical reality, it was the last resort. They tried to exhaust every possible form of communication. You just didn't get it. So they said, send him a miracle. He's gonna ooh and ah at the miracle. She's gonna ooh and ah at the miracle. But the moment something of the light comes into this realm, it's densified. So you're never gonna get the full expression of any light in this realm. You gotta go to the spirit realms where it actually exists. So if God is like, all right, before I start sending miracles in this person's life, let me try one last form of communication. It's called reality communication, where God opens up the floodgates of portals. God opens up the floodgates of portals, and you're just acting like you're living your normal life. But let's say God was like, all right, I need a billboard that says 333 on it, and saying look to the left, your soulmate is near. I need a billboard that says that, right? Peace unto you, angel. Peace unto you. So God's like, I need a billboard that says that. Well, in your native dimension, in your native reality, so God, this how powerful source is, right? It's not, and this doesn't even really explain the power. So that's what I'm saying. Everything, because you're literally in alive with the Son of Source, as are you for real. There's no difference between them. When I say I'm the Son of Source, I'm not saying the I am that you think that is a singular vessel. I'm saying the I am that's all of us. After you experience this class, you go out, live your day-to-day, your entire reality has now just become a conversation with God. The entire reality. From conversations that you hear, that you think you're being nosy, from people talking, from how cars are operating, from the license plates, to everything, to how the birds are forming. Everything is God. Don't come to me saying it ain't that deep, because you either believe God is all or God is nothing. And if God is all, then God is all. And if God, look up the definitions that we use. What does all mean? Everything. If God was the zipper on this hoodie, it could be the zipper in this hoodie. But no, that's just a zipper. Why are you limiting God? Why are you limiting God? God can be a strand of your hair that tickled you in such a specific way that made you turn your head and think about something. So the way the reality conversations happen with Source, let's say God was like, we needed a billboard, right? That said 333 and look to your left to find your soulmate, right? Let's say that's not your native reality. So since God opened the floodgates of all of these portals, one day, exactly, life is really just a conversation with the Creator. One day you'll just walk outside and all of a sudden there's a billboard outside that says exactly that. Look to your left and you'll see your soulmate. And then when you look to the left, all of a sudden, this one spiritual person just come out the house. The moment you look to the left, you look to the right, ain't nobody. Look up, you ain't hear no door slam. The moment you look to the left, somebody just casually walks out the door. All of the native drip. God doesn't speak literally. Remember, everybody, God does not speak literally. It speaks in an abundant way, not even metaphorically. It speaks in an abundant way. So if you interpret, let's say when that sign, look to your left and see your soulmate, and you see that person, the human ego brain says, oh, that must be my soulmate. No. God speaks in an abundant way. So what Source is saying is that energy, that frequency, that archetype that person gives off, that attracts you, That's your soulmate. But it's not actually another person, because God is never going to affirm in separation. God is saying, see that in yourself. Because what? God knows the divine law that literally created it. What you see is what you are. So if you see a master that you think is so much bursting in light and bursting in love, you don't even know, my child. You just affirm that for yourself. Right? And then let's say you're driving. God says, all right, we can't have this person stay in this in reality too. He has to go back to his native reality. So you're driving, you drive past your house, all of a sudden you're back in your native reality, you go back to the neighborhood. Later in the day, the billboard is gone. Right? This is literally how source will operate. Let's say, you're taking a walk one day and the park is just jumping. God is trying to talk to you. You've been asking source for guidance. You're walking, for whatever reason, people are talking so much louder than usual. Shut up and listen. Because God is going to be talking to you through them. It actually happened to me. Let me give y'all a quick story about when I got spiritually attacked, right? Ooh, you got attacked? Yeah. In Hollywood, how they say, I remember these stories about what they was talking about in Hollywood, where Martin was running in the middle of the streets, and they're trying to get me, waving a gun in the air and stuff like that. I met those type of beings that were just after him. These beings are able to walk in between realms and walk into portals and stuff like that. I got spiritually attacked by the elite, the high, right? And they all wear a singular color, right? They all are infatuated with the red color for whatever reason. They all are infatuated with red. I may wear red here and there. I may wear blue or whatever, but they all love the color red for whatever reason. And they didn't start appearing until me and Yeshua, literally. And it wasn't like I was in the spirit realms, right? It wasn't like I was in the spirit. They was in physicality. They came. First I'm gonna tell y'all why, right? They didn't start appearing until me and Yeshua, Christ consciousness. We was creating 33. Me, because 33s is from Christ consciousness. Yes, we felt that. Yes. We love you. Yeshua and me, we constructed Christ consciousness, and we constructed the Mudra. So it's not just 33s. It's actually, you lock them in. So it's like the thought of saying 33 is you align yourself with the God frequency. 33 is Christ consciousness. Locking them together is oneness. And you hold your fingers together like this, your pinky and your thumb, for infinity. So it's God, Christ consciousness, or God's will, for, in oneness for all there is. So when we first was literally, because when you create a mudra, it's not just you find a hand symbol and you just do it, and then boom, it just works. It's not how it works. When you create a mudra, you have to have ceremonies around it, prayers around it, and then you have to astral project. I got to go into the spirit realms and meditate with it. And you have to go in so many dimensions, meditate with it. And soak up the energy. And me and literally Christ consciousness was both meditating. And it got to the point where Yeshua was like, all right, I'm going to actually sit in your body. Because one way, and we're going to get back to the main thing, but sources is having us talk about all of this stuff. It's like, you'll see everything be woven together. One way that masters teach, right? If you was to be like, I want to learn how Yeshua did miracles, or I want to learn how Buddha did what he did, or meditate for the tree for that long. Let's say you astral project, you actually find where they are, because they have a reality, and they're actually attracted to the light. So if you actually are the light, they'll actually come to you, or just open themselves up for you to come to them. It's a meeting, right? A lot of the time, the way these masters teach, these revered ascended masters, the way they teach, right, is they'll literally allow you to become them. Because what better way to teach you how I did something than to just have you become me? So they will literally, essentially, like, rest within your body. If you were, like, sitting down, y'all would merge. Like, say you wanted to learn from Jesus directly, right? He would teach you, and he'd be like, are you ready for Christ consciousness? And be like, yeah. And then it would be like this symbolism where he will merge you both together. And he was preparing me for it. I remember before that day even happened, I went to sleep one day and I woke up. Literally, I thought I woke up. I was literally in like space, and I was looking up, and it was like a lot of stars, but it was this giant like picture of Yeshua, like the torso up, giant picture of Yeshua, very beautiful. And then Yeshua pulled up this. It was like made this giant phone, right? And it was Instagram on the phone. It was like a different version of Instagram where I took different pictures. And he said he pulled one of the pictures, and my picture was up in the sky, very big, from the torso up, just like his. And he merged both. Merged both images together. Because Yeshua doesn't speak. Like these ascended masters don't talk with their tongue. So Yeshua was like, I gotta prepare you that we are one. So literally, he merged his image and my image, and it overlapped them, and a silhouette was casted, and the silhouette was both of our alignments and frequencies becoming one. And then I woke up, and I was like, "What the heck was that?" But then I didn't really receive all of this type of real information until like years after all that. Yeshua been preparing me. So, but what serves right now is this becoming process, right? And as we anchor all of this, what you must know, what all of you must know, as we anchor all of this, is we're all one. So what the Christ conscious frequencies, we're all one. So me and Yeshua, we've been meditating with this, and we created this Mudra together. I didn't start getting spiritually attacked until I came back, until it was done. Until we successfully made the Mudra, masters tested it and said, "Oh my gosh, y'all made a Mudra for Christ consciousness. We didn't think that ever was going to come to earth. Y'all literally made a Mudra of Christ consciousness." Remember, 33s. First is the thought of 33. The thought of 33 is God. God, I affirm God. Then Christ consciousness. Remember, 33 means spirit warrior, right? So it's Christ consciousness. Oneness for all eternity, because this is infinity. One of the most powerful mudras you can utilize. Literally curated by me and Yeshua. Once we finalize this, I'm going to give you all a story about when I got spiritually attacked. One day I was walking outside, right? Took a while. I always take walks. That was in my old neighborhood. And I took my little stroll, and on the way back to my house, I felt something off. Something was just off. I looked up in the sky, hundreds of birds in unison circling together. I'm like, whoa, that's not normal. When I say hundreds of birds circling in the sky. You just hear feathers and all of them just circling. And then someone walk outside, but the person's on the phone, right? And he's talking on the phone, but he's actually saying stuff that I recognize. He's saying on the phone, "Where's your astral shield? Put on your astral shield. What are you doing? Put on your astral shield." I'm like, that's not a typical conversation I've seen this person have before. That's interesting. You know me, I'm quick to skedaddle. You know, the neighborhood, it was straight. So this is how the neighborhood goes. Like, it's a straight, but there's also a turn this way. And it goes all the way around to where my house was down here. He was in the middle of the street, the straight middle of the street, talking about, "Put on your astral shield, da-da-da-da-da-da." Hundreds of birds circling in the sky. That's weird. I'm going to go right. So I went right? And then I felt this weight. That's weird. What the heck was that? I start walking on the right side of the neighborhood. All of my friends no longer live in this neighborhood, y'all. It's different people. I got all the way to the back where my house was. Every single person in that neighborhood was different. It was different people living in these houses. I remember it like it was yesterday. When I first started walking, nobody was in the front doing anything, right? Now, When I got back to my area where my house is, somebody's car was turned upside down on a jack, and somebody was working on it. But I was like, they don't live in this neighborhood. Matter of fact, everybody don't live in this neighborhood. And then I seen this black cat, right? And cats are very powerful. This black cat, it was actually this very powerful master. Came through, this black cat. And it was me. When I started to recognize what was happening, because I first was walking to my door, but then I was like looking around. I'm like, what? I seen a black cat. First time getting spiritually attacked on this level. Usually it was in the answer rooms, I can handle it. Now I'm being tested. I'm panicking so much. I just start picking up trash. I just start doing something nice, right? And this is when it all hit me. Because I knew something was different. The signs were all there, right? When I went to go pick up some trash by the dumpster and put it in the dumpster, these 3 people came out of a portal, literally. And I'm telling y'all, like, it gets very real. These 3 people came out of a portal and said, oh, he's only doing that because he sees us. And I was like, where am I at? And then the cat started meowing very heavy. Meow, 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 meow. And then it went to the woods. I followed it. And me and it had a conversation, right? But when I went to the woods, guess what happened, y'all? Everybody surrounded the woods. It was real. So then I anchored, I did a prayer, I ran to my house. When I ran to my house, my sisters was at the top of the stairs. I was like, yo, people are living, I'm in a different reality. And it was a different version of my sister. She was like, I know, I already have a spiritual bath prepared for you. The angels already told me. The angels already told you? Yeah, they said, yeah, prepare a spiritual bath. A different version of your brother is going to come in this reality because we have to show him something real quick. And yeah, prepared already. So I already had it prepared. I went upstairs, went to the bathroom. We did a sacred prayer. I went in the native bath. I rose back up. I walked back outside after I dried myself off. Everything reverted back to normal. All my friends lived back in the neighborhood. Everything was fine. I said, what the heck just happened? I tell y'all this story for this. Because people be like, okay, then why are you telling this story? Is like, why? What story are you being spiritually attacked? The reasoning is because when you walk on this path, everybody, there's going to be things that happen on this planet that doesn't necessarily, feel very good. There's going to be some things on this path that doesn't feel very good. But that doesn't stop you. For about a month, I had to deal with that energy. I walked into Walmart with my mother like a few days later. As soon as I walked in, everybody turned their heads like this and looked at me and my mother. My mother was like, because my mom, the whole family is very spiritual. She said, baby, do you see him? And I was like, yes, I see him. And she was like, I'm not going to be able to help you through this. They don't see me. They only see you. So the only way you can get past this, baby, is if you show them you don't fear. All of you have to show everyone the dark, your ego, all of it. Do not fear. When I stopped fear, look, and we even tested it, right? Because she told me this after this little situation happened. So we actually went to Walmart, and my mom was actually putting me on the spiritual test because before whatever reason we were just going to a lot of stores. I was like, "What, Mom? I'm getting spiritually attacked. Why are you taking me to all of these public places where all these people are getting mass manipulated into this?" And she said, "She was quiet." She said, "Jesus, follow guidance from God. Take your son everywhere public. He can't hide in this. He has to learn this." It's like when the birds, when they're trying to get the birds, like their baby, chickens and stuff, flying. You kick them off the nest, or they jump off you fly or die. Right. So we went to like a Walmart, and that happened. And we went to like a Target. Right. And at the Target, I'm not looking anybody in the eye. Every spiritual revelation with the soul, the eyes is leading to the soul. Every spiritual reality. I'm not looking nobody in the eye. I'm looking straight at the corner of the ceiling. And everybody that walked past us, we got him, y'all. Just whispering it in our ears. So we got him. He's not even looking at us. We got him. He's not even looking. We got him. My mom just started saying prayers out loud. She just started saying prayers. Not like loud, but just out loud so I can hear her. She starts saying prayers. She's into spirituality. She gets these type of things. But we all have a foundation. So because she grew up in Christianity, even though she's not a Christian no more, she still knows certain Christian prayers. She was like, I'm gonna do what I possibly, just something, because I can't interact. I'm not allowed. Literally, God says you're not allowed to intervene. So all I can do is pray for my baby that he makes it, and hopefully he makes it. By the will of Source, I don't see another crucifixion. My mom just started saying prayers relating to this moment, and then I was like, all right. So I calmed myself once, and then I also was able to look at people in the eye. When I was able to look at people in the eye, she hurried up and grabbed me, and she walked out. So that was like, so one location was being able to handle that, everybody looking at you at the same time. The another store was, are you able to look at everybody in the eye and not fear? So then we went to this hair, it was like African store, this hair store, right? This is like the conclusion of everything. We went to this African store, and I started playing I started listening, I had headphones, I started listening to Bob Marley, and I started singing it out loud. Just singing Bob Marley songs out loud. Exodus, movement of Jah people, yeah. Like, I started just singing. These beings did not like it. It's not they didn't like Bob, they didn't like love. So, now, as we enter that which is this love frequency, even though the flesh says I am terrified, the flesh is weak, the spirit is willing. Now I'm identifying with the spirit. We exited the store, and she was like, you see him? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, now I'm able to tell you, this has happened before. So after everything happened, right? My mom was sitting in the car, and she was like, this happened to me before. And she was like, I rejected all my gifts, so God passed them to my children. And she said, all I can do is guide you through this. And how you get through that, and this is a message from y'all. This is not even just from my mother, it's from the Divine Mother. How you get through any attack or anything that you feel is an attack, right? Is first not to fear it. Secondly, bring love. And thirdly, be fierce. Be as a lion. So the next day was like 2 days later. We went back into a public space. Chin up high. I'm intentionally doing very powerful techniques where I'm covering my entire body in the white and gold light. I'm looking at everybody. Face to face, eye to eye. Everybody's turning their heads and not looking at me no more. Yes. Guess what happened? They all ran away. I never got spiritually attacked again. They said, oh, the Christ is born. My bad. Oh, the Christ is born. Dang, I thought we was going to crucify him again. Nope, all right, bet. So they left me alone. Haven't had a problem since. That story can translate for everybody's reality. Even if what you're going through in your life isn't as crazy and grand as, oh my gosh, the whole dark force tried to take the man out. Even if it's just, I stubbed my toe today. No fear, love, and be fierce. Even if your job forgot your paycheck or sent it to the wrong, no fear, love, and be fierce. No matter how big or small the situation is, you can apply that into this. If you get in an argument, don't be fearful to stand in the light. Silence is loud. Silence is loud. Listen. If I say, listen how loud the silence is. I am the Son of God and Christ in flesh once more. Silence is loud. What the heck? Silence is loud. So when people are arguing with you and wanting to be hateful, wanting to be judgeful, wanting to be all of that, fear not in being of the light and being accused of that which is feminine or sissy or whatever type of terminologies they want to throw in it. No. Sometimes the most loving thing to do in a situation is walking away. Can you give an example of being fierce? I'm going to give you a practical example, right? A practical example of being fierce. Let's say you're at your job, right? And let's say the job is customer based. And for whatever reason, the customers are just being so rude. You only show that which is like, why are you being so rude? Why are you so angry? Being fierce is looking at them eye to eye. You have no fear. You don't fear what they got going on, and you're embodying that which is love. Look at them eye to eye. How can I help you? Is there anything you need besides this? Being fierce is not focusing on anything of density. Not fearing is not subscribing to anything of density. So not fearing is not subscribing to anything of density. Love is simply embodying who you actually are. And fierceness is not focusing on it. Yes, you throw your hates and all of this. What do you want? How can I help you? That's fierceness. Fierce has nothing to do with anger, attacking. Because being the Christ or being that which is God's will embodied is in defenselessness. For when one says they must defend, they affirm in an attacker. For one who says they must defend, they first have to affirm in an attacker. Well, in God, there's no defense needed nor attacking. So now it's about where is your foundations? What do you value? Do you truly value God? Or do you value the world? If you value the world, fight each other all day. But if you actually value God, you'll know that there's no fighting or defending. Put on the mind of one who is in heaven in this now. Heaven on earth isn't just saying nice words or saying affirmations or being cute for the camera. Heaven on earth is acting as one who is in heaven right now. However you think angels act in heaven, however you think spirit guides act in what we call God's domain, we call heaven God's domain. However you think all these beings act there, act that way now. That's heaven on earth. It's a consciousness. Remember, today was all about divine orchestration, not divine timing. So everyone, before we say another prayer and wove everything together, right? We're going to say this final statement. We're going to have some Q&As, and we're going to say our prayer in our native tongue again, and then say some prayers in English for you to, everybody to integrate, and then we're going to be about up and out of here for us to integrate, right? But know that if you truly value that which is God's domain, or what people call heaven or paradise or bliss, and you don't care about this earth, you know you're in the world, not of the world. If you truly understand these type of things, stop utilizing the terminologies and stop utilizing the ideas and actions of this world if you are truly beyond it. Stop saying time. Stop focusing on time if you know it's not real. Stop saying hate and stop focusing on hate if you know it's not real. Stop focusing on all of these counteractive realities, because they actually are of illusions. They don't matter. None of it matters. You know, the flesh is weak, the spirit is willing. Even if the flesh has a mishap, I know it's not the spirit. Sometimes the light enters your body so much, the body may, may stumble here and there. You may hit your toe and it might hurt, but affirm that God is in you and you are the abundant child of source, so you shall not be hurt any further. So today, to make everything a lot easier for everybody to integrate, Stop saying divine timing if you utilize that thing. Try to stop saying time, period. Say timelessness. What time is it, timelessness? You can joke about it. What time is it, timelessness? I'm just playing. It's 11:11. I'm just playing. It's 11:34. Say something like that. Plant seeds in people's mind. But when it comes out to divine timing, don't say divine timing. Say divine orchestration. Orchestrated divinity. All right, everybody. If you have any questions before we enter these prayers, if you have any questions, type them now. If you have any questions, type them now. We'll answer any questions. We'll get to the native prayer. Remember, we're going live every Friday and every Sunday, 8 a.m. Thanks for letting me ramble. We love you. You're God's child. Wow, this live really coming to a wrap right when I gotta read and leave. All is in perfect alignment. No questions, anybody? All right, so Source has another message for y'all before we enter these. This is very, very, very quick, right? Source understands that people are not going to be listening to podcasts and hour-long classes like this, 2-hour-long classes for like their whole day. So that's why this vessel has been guided to utilize the gift of sound alchemy. So we make music, and it's not just like spiritual miracle music, right? It's music that you hear, you would literally say, why isn't this person famous? Very, very powerful music. We made like 3 albums, right? That's out everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, all of that, right? But then, and even if you listen to the first album, to the progression, you'll see like, oh, he stopped cussing, using profanity, he started talking about more light things, right? But then this recent album, me and my brother made, I Am Famous Black. It's called Why We Fear. It literally is all of these teachings, all of the teachings I could ever teach you. It's literally in music form. Because God knows you're not going to listen to hour-long videos, 2-hour-long videos throughout your whole life. Music is tangible. You can utilize it. So everybody's homework after this course, remember, this is a course. Everybody's homework is to go on YouTube, Apple Music, or Spotify. Type my name, Nadiie Black. Listen to Why We Fear. You don't have to listen to the other albums. And it's not even just about promotion. How we literally start the album is, heaven isn't in a place so distant, for the miracle resides in you. But when you listen to the whole album, it's not even just like, oh, it's like, oh my God, this could be out everywhere. If you click the link in my description, right, you literally see where it says Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. It's for those albums. If you want to listen to it for free and all of that, click YouTube. That's everybody's homework. Listen to that album front to back. Get all of those downloads, and then DM me how you feel about it. And if you was to print out the lyrics, if you was to actually print out the lyrics, you would say, this is potent. How did he make it sound so good? It's not of the flesh, it's of God. Me, and my name is Nadiie Black, Nadiie Black, and I Am Famous Black. Me, that's my brother. We literally channeled this. And this album, Why We Fear, literally click the link in my page. You'll see Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Click on YouTube if you want to listen to it for free. You'll listen to the album Why We Fear. Let's do it front to back because it's a big story. After the album was done, this is how powerful this album was. Dark forces did not want this album to come out. When we was making the album cover, all of a sudden, camera got full battery. All of a sudden, camera died. Trying to shoot the album cover. The lights go out. Trying to shoot the album cover. All of a sudden, the person that we was like recording, like there's a person that owned the studio. The studio that we were recording in, all of a sudden started acting very, very like odd. What was going on? He said a lot of dark things was happening to him. The moment the cameras died, he called. There was a lot of stuff going on, right? A lot of stuff didn't want this album to come out. Because that album, if y'all all listen to Why We Fear, it's out everywhere. Every last one of your streaming services. Is it out on this streaming service? Yes. Whatever one you have is there. Why We Fear. Fear is actually an acronym. It stands for Find Everyone and Rise. That is all of your homework. Listen to that album front to back. I don't care if you don't touch not a single other album of my catalog. Right now, it's not about the career. No. This album literally is all of these teachings. Again, we started the album with, heaven isn't a place so distant, for the miracle resides in you. But as you listen to it, it's oh, this song could be on the radio. This song could be on the radio. Because it's like Bob Marley. It's like Bob Marley Exodus. This album is literally like Bob Marley Exodus. Yes, you can make the whole point. People complain about the music industries. People complain about Hollywood. People complain about all these things without doing nothing about it. You can actually make good music. Listen to the Lauryn Hill album. I remember Busta Rhymes was talking about it in the one interview. If another woman came out and had an album that was as powerful and as worldwide as the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, today, you wouldn't hear no Sexy Red. That wouldn't be in the forefront. So instead of complaining, just like how Bob Marley said, I'm not gonna complain, I'm just gonna make different music. I'm gonna make something for the world. That's what we made. Why We Fear. So listen to that. Click the link in my bio. You'll click YouTube. You'll listen to Why We Fear for free, or you listen to album music, or whatever. You can also donate to me if you want to, but who cares about all of that? All right, everybody. Source was like, nah, you got to make sure. Source was like, make sure you tell everybody that, because you're on Earth. You're bound to see something you don't like. You're bound to hear something you don't like. It's good if you listen to high vibrational music. And it's not even just high vibrational music. It's like, oh my God, this is actually good. I'm gonna do a little hook for y'all real quick, right? It was this one hook called for the song "Hey Mama," and then we're gonna go into the prayer. Everybody because I perform, right? I got another performance, another show on the 27th, but no, actually on the 20th. I'm going to the Detroit Festival. But when I perform the song "Hey Mama," it's like, I don't need the money, I don't want the fame, I just need my mama. That would never change. Hey mama, mama, hey mama, mama, hey. Hey mama, mama, hey mama, mama, hey. When you hear that, I'm telling y'all, a level of light is gonna cover your presence, and it's like, yo, this is fire. Why isn't this on the radio? You can make it. You can make this. Right now, everybody has the capability of blowing this up and allowing the light to be everywhere. All right, now that we got that, let's begin these prayers. Everybody on the count of 3, take one deep breath. 1, 2, 3, inhale. Hold it. Blow out through your mouth. Alrighty, y'all, let's start these prayers. A.K.A. Pisatuki is Pamokinan. No coincidence that the God alarm went off. A.K.A. Pisatuki is Pamokinan. Na kai titinan. Na keki musisinan. Na koka motosanan. Nena, Nakista, Nah 6. Otokina na Pisatuki. Kimotan. Thank you, Source, for this glorious day, guiding us to all there is right now and to this moment as we anchor this presence. Thank you for guiding everyone to knowing what the truth is, for the truth is themselves. For when one knows themselves, they know of you, Source. For we are the embodiment of all there is, the light, the love, the presence, the gratitude, the peace. We are it, and we affirm that for us and all around us. May our presence simply be enough. May we not need our tongues, our mouth, or any form of language to communicate light and love toward another individual or aspect of ourselves. May our presence simply shift all frequencies that serve not, to reveal all frequencies that you have distributed to us at birth, for it is our birthright to be that which is your will and your abundance, God. Thank you for guiding everyone to seeing all there is within this light. Thank you, God, for guiding all of us to seeing ourselves. Thank you. By our name we affirm this, and so it is. Yay! Can I get an so it is in the chat, everybody? Let me get an so it is. You are actually witnessing some very, very beautiful things, everybody. Everybody's witnessing some very beautiful energies. We're grateful. So it is. How'd y'all feel about today? Let me know. Look, type in the chat how you feel about today. 1-word answers, sentence answers, 2-word answers. How you feel about today? Just did today serve for you? Always beautiful. Remember, we're going live every Friday, every Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you listen to that album, Why We Fear. If you want to listen to other albums, you can, but prioritize God first and listen to Why We Fear first. Front and back. When you listen to that album, oh my God. Oh my God. I love this song, Hey Mama, though. A lot of people do. So I'm just want to kick it out here with y'all a little bit, like this little Palo Santo. I'm grateful. I love y'all so much. Since the live is officially over, I can just I can kick it with the people that stayed a little bit, just a little bit. Thank you. I will check it out for sure. Yeah, thank you. We're very grateful. And make sure it's not just you check it out. When you see it, when you really realize what it is, you listen to it, share it. Tell your friends. This is how good music is spread. We have to have a balance. And we have to show everybody that it's okay to share the light. Some people want to gatekeep so much. They found the light and they just want to gatekeep. But don't gatekeep the good. Don't gatekeep the light. Like, the reason why Bob Marley got so big, it didn't have to go through Hollywood and didn't have to go through all these dark avenues and didn't have to do that, is because Jamaica stood beside him and said, we're going to appreciate this light because there's a lot going on. So literally the power is in your hands. All of y'all have the capability of creating another Bob Marley. Someone that can change the world, but it's up to y'all. It's literally up to y'all. Up to y'all to share it. Because when you listen to it, you're going to say, this is actually really good. Y'all can create another Bob Marley. That energy. Y'all have the possibility to do that. That's your choice. Because I am who I am and you are who you are. And, God is going to be what God is regardless of what happens. But, some people say, why isn't music like this? Or why can't people love each other? Or why can't... It's because it's not marketed. It's not put in people's faces. Because people... There's not even just me that's doing very beautiful things with, like, music and stuff like that. But people gatekeep it. Why? And we need it now because look at the world. Look at the world. Remember I told y'all. World War III was trending. UFC #2. Rick Ross #3. What is this world? How did Rick Ross, how did he get in there? With the worlds? It's like, literally, when I seen that, I just thought about the Dave Chappelle joke. Where is Ja? It's like, I just thought about that joke, like, how did Rick Ross get to this point? So y'all have the power is in your hands. Literally, God is saying the power is in your hands. Share the album, share the lives, share the information. Because remember, when we send this information to you, it goes through your filters. So share it to your friend. Don't say it the same way I said it to you. The reason why it resonated for you is because you resonate with me. But not everybody's going to resonate with me. You may know how to talk to somebody that I don't know how to talk in a way that I don't know how to, So you listen to what I'm saying and you figure out a way to say what I said. Even if you're dealing with somebody that really don't use a lot of big words or whatnot, say what I said in a simple way. It's about sharing. Sharing. That's why we say share the music. It's not share the music for Nadiie. It's share the music because the music is light. It's like when people were sharing Bob Marley music, it wasn't the fact that they wanted Bob Marley to be so big. It was, I'm literally listening to God. I'm listening to love. I'm listening to peace. Why wouldn't I want to share Three Little Birds with everybody? Why wouldn't I want to share Exodus with people? Why? Why wouldn't I? So if you really want change, it starts now. If y'all really want change, it starts now. Share Why We Fear and everything that you heard in these classes. Figure out how to not regurgitate it, but integrate it and say it in a way that your peers might accept it. Thank you. Welcome home.